Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twilight Epiphanies Talk Radio with Cindy Magnuson, and the show is about to begin. So, slow down, take a seat, put your feet up, and maybe take some notes, because this show is about you, it's for you, and it is designed to help you receive exactly what you need to be a happier and healthier you. Okay, well, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 24 of Twilight Epiphanies Talk Radio, and the second show in the series, the Twilight Epiphanies Honor Roll. Tonight's guest is Stefania Crispino, the Fruitarian farmer, also known as the Feel-Good Coach. Stefania lives on her family's farm in Valemaio, Italy, where they grow all of their own food, including multiple types of fruit trees, many of which they have grafted, herbs, vegetables, olives, some of which are processed into olive oil. And while they are transporting much of their produce from the land to their dinner table in traditional hand-woven willow baskets, Stefania is currently consuming a raw fruitarian diet, is a fitness fanatic, and she refers to herself, she is a nutritionist and is available for nutritional therapy consultations, health and nutritional boosts, and life detox packages. She also operates the farm as an Airbnb, and she is here tonight to tell us about her journey from ill health and toxic habits into the life she now thrives in. I have especially asked Stefania to join me for not only her accomplishments in health and well-being as a raw foodist, but for her earthy, heart-centered personality, which is well-grounded in strong spiritual beliefs and practices in living life day to day. She is wholesome, nurturing, compassionate, and embodies at the same time a fierce determination to achieve progressive forward movement in a beautiful blend that makes her one very unique lady. Tonight, she joins me to talk to us about how she has arrived here, what it took to get her here, and what a day is in the life of Stefania Crispino is like and where she is headed from here. So let's welcome Stefania onto the line. Hello, Stefania.
Hello, Cindy. Hello, world. Hello, everyone. It's
very
so
nice.
nice.
Okay, yes, very nice to have you on all the way from Italy.
Thank you very much. That was beautiful what you wrote. Really beautiful. It was lovely.
Thank you. You have quite a diversity on your web pages, your website. And
Yes.
I thought, how can I bundle all of this even into one? And I was even thinking, one show, I don't think so. This is already a 2 or 3 show scenario here. So tonight we'll start the ball rolling.
Yep.
Very excited to hear about, and this is where we can begin maybe tonight in our talk. So in getting to here, can you some of the highlights that brought you from where you had mentioned on your pages that you were smoking cigarettes, you had some drug spaces in the past. Yes, you had different places that we have all moved through. You talked about healing a very strong case of acne and how important it is and interesting right now that you are able to not have to wear makeup, and the transition went through that. So can you begin with telling the listening audience some of the highlights that initiated you, that inspired you, and what directions you moved through to get to here right now?
Okay, so basically my journey began when I was younger. I think it was about 15. I began a series of stupid events, lots of drinking, lots of smoking, very a very low period in my life. A lot was going on within my family, a lot of stress. I just felt completely, I wanted to escape from the situation that I was in. So I used, this method of escape, unfortunately, drug abuse, smoking, drinking, and basically I went down a really, really bad path, really bad, to the point where I didn't even know who I was anymore. I didn't know how to even sort myself out. It was really, really low. And thankfully for my mum, she really saved me. So I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for her. So I have to thank her for that as well, always.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really,
Beautiful.
really lovely. And she's still like the most precious person in my life. So even though I don't live with her anymore, but yeah, it's lovely. And so basically, after I had sorted out myself a little bit for a while, I had got off, drugs. I had got off the chronic binge drinking, to the point where I was blacked out. I didn't know anything what was going on, and smoking, all this stuff. I had got back into fitness. I had got back into, eating semi-healthy. I was still eating everything really, meats, chips, pizzas, all this stuff. So it was a lot of ups and downs mostly. And then I, slowly I had met someone, and he was he was a vegetarian. He said, "Hey, you should, you can try leave the meat out and see how you feel." And just by chance, I was like, okay, well, I could try this. I could see how it goes. And at that point, I was, just full of health complaints, full, from chronic sinusitis to chronic acne, chronic migraines, IBS, cysts. Oh, the list is enormous, honestly. It's just hormonal imbalances, so many, anxiety, insomnia, panic attacks, just everything. It was a really, really long list. And so basically I had tried, to be vegetarian. I cut out meat. I felt better a little bit, but I did start abusing then on the cheese and the milk and all the stuff that was all probably aggravating everything. So slowly I started researching myself, and I don't know how I even came across the stuff, but I came across veganism, luckily. And then slowly I tried to incorporate that into my diet. That was around 24 years old, so it wasn't straight away. It was still like many years, from 15 until 24. Okay. Many years of, illness. Sure. And many years. So yeah, let's just say a few bad things in my life had other events had happened that didn't really make me want to stay here on this earth anymore. So luckily I think the reason I'm still here is for this. And so slowly I had done into veganism, removing stuff. It was tough, but I did see the benefits a lot. So I continued with it. I continued just to listen to my inner voice, that thing that was saying, okay, you can do this, it's okay. And then, still wanting to get rid of the chronic sinusitis and the acne, which had not gone. I looked for other methods, other ways to heal. And again, for some reason, I came across raw food and raw veganism. And then I slowly started into that. At some points, I was going a bit crazy. I was doing like 12 oranges a day, and I was being like violently sick because my body was just toxic to the point of, and that is a thing I recommend for many people, is just to go slowly, because when you rush into these things, your body's not prepared. You just don't have what it takes to detox. Your organs are not working to the potential they should be. So, and so incorporating the raw foods, I really did start to feel a difference, especially in my skin. The sinusitis disappeared. And And a lot of things disappeared, a lot of problems, a lot of issues I didn't realise I had. Even the insomnia, which I had for years. I was on sleeping pills for 1 month at one point, and the doctor would not give me any more. So it really, honestly, it was just a miracle that I'm sleeping now, that I don't have any more panic attacks unless extremely stressed by something, that you can't control. But
Sure.
still, it's like really is amazing. It's amazing, and I just really believe that raw foods can benefit anyone. I don't even think you need to go all raw. I just think the major part, of the diet, raw, you're fine. You can still have your cooked food, your cooked vegetables, your beans, that's fine. But the major part of the diet, I think, if you're raw, you're really, really helping yourself out, your family out, and, our planet out, which is the main thing. So, yeah, I hope that explained most of my things.
Okay, so you started around 15, and then so at 24 you were eating veganism. At what point then did you get to the farm? Were you on the farm?
Okay. No. So, basically all of that happened while I was in Scotland. I was still living there, and I went to Italy. That was around 4 years ago. Just because I had not actually grown up with my father, and it was always a thing that was calling me. It was always I don't know why, to get to know him, to go back to my roots in a way, and it just was a thing that called me for so many years. And I finally decided to do it, and it was a good thing in a way. It's been, again, a lot of ups and downs, like most things. So it has really been a good learning experience, and I needed it as well as a time to spend with him, to get to know him, as I think every daughter or son should do, is have a chance to at least, to get to know their parent. So yeah, it was a good experience.
Okay, so your parents had been separated.
Yes, since I was 3 or 4 years old. Since I was 3 or 4 years old, yeah.
Okay, and you mostly were with your mother. I think I had seen, that you would go and visit your father then, and how much you enjoyed
exactly
the soil. Yeah.
It was my mom and my sister that were in Scotland, so yeah.
Okay. So yes, it was destiny, definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
So then it was approximately 4 years ago that you began a full-time occupation then, being at the farm?
Yeah, you can say, I was, yeah.
Okay.
It was, and living on the farm, helping out with the farm. We grow most of our food here, so especially in the summer. In summer, it's just full-on abundance everywhere, spring. And most of our work, starts around early springtime, March, April, where we're starting to plant everything, sort out all the grounds, preparing all the seeds, planting. So it's a lot of work that's involved in that, but it's also really rewarding and really nice. And throughout the year, there's a lot of things that maybe you wouldn't think about. Preparing the wood, preparing, harvesting, making sure everything is in order. So there's a lot of work to be done, but it is also really rewarding as well at the same time. So
yes, so your father has been on the farm, working the farm in his traditional cultural ways of working a little bit more natural. Well, actually not a little bit, but has he always been organic and traditional as opposed to, like more like a factory farming type?
Yeah. It's always been.
Okay.
The farm was my grandparents, so basically it's just been handed down generation to generation. And the only thing is my dad has some animals as well. He still consumes animals.
Yes.
But luckily, since I've been here, I've also noticed a big change in him as well. which has been amazing. When I first came, he was like full-on carnivore, literally could not get enough of it, you know, cheese, everything. He even had rabbits, he had pigs as well, which he would kill to eat, basically, at the end of it. And I think with my presence, I think he just realised that there is no need to do that. We can still survive. It's basically just a sort of conditioning society has given us, that we need the animals, we need the animal protein to survive. When in fact we actually are better, we're younger, we're fitter without it, and the world is better. So he understood this in a way, even though he might not want to admit it fully, but he got rid of the rabbits and he got rid of the pigs. In fact, one day he said to me, like, I can't kill them anymore. I said, well, that's
oh boy, yeah.
So it was a really big step, and his diet changed. He became, you know, much more vegetables, much more soups and stuff, salads. Sometimes he might even eat a melon just for his dinner, which is like amazing. So it's good. It's good. He's
that
much
is very amazing. That remarkable, because you can tell by him, you know, that he has been conditioned into this, and it's been his belief style for a while. So your again, your ability to allow someone else their time to change, and when we're not judging someone by it, they're not even a little bit, but they're a lot more ready to be more open, because it's their timing, it's for their reasons. It's not because someone else is placing their belief system over theirs. And he had probably the opportunity to watch you becoming very much more energetic,
probably
beautiful, the time, and going,
this seems to be working here. So
there's another level here. So you decided to move there then? You and were you with your current fiance at that time, or did you move in by yourself?
No, I moved with it was an ex-boyfriend, really. I moved with an ex-boyfriend when I was here. We were together for a while, then it didn't work out, and then I was alone for a while, and then eventually I met Domenico, my current fiance. So yeah, and the idea to move to Italy, as I said, was always a thing that I had wanted to do. I wasn't really sure what to expect. I wasn't sure if I was doing the right thing. I wasn't sure about anything. In a way, it's, as I said, it's been a really high and low experience sometimes, as usual, as anything is. So, yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's very interesting. So, would you say then your father has taught you everything that you are participating in there, and then you are also adding in new ideas for him to work with? I saw, the video of him grafting. I haven't watched that before, so it was so interesting to watch. I just think it's a lovely experience to watch traditional means. It's just different. There's just a different feel about the space of traditionally operating there, and it's just a much more peaceful. I love the peaceful space of it. So have you brought in your ideas then of what is going on there? And maybe you can begin to tell us about all of the different projects that you have going on there, and what you have participated in that you brought in addition to what your dad was already working with there.
Okay, so basically when I arrived, the farm was basically like it was probably in the 1930s. It's still the same. Like nothing has changed. I mean, nothing was changing when I arrived. It was just the same, basically the same. There was no sort of no input from my dad to like make things better, to improve, because he was just happy as it was. He likes things as it is. His person is, don't change things for me. When things starts to change, he becomes, you know, a bit, oh, you're invading my space, don't change things.
Sure.
So me instead, I'm all about, I see potential in everything and in everyone, and it's like I don't even know how I know, but I just know how what someone needs to do or what needs to be done to improve on it. So my
Yes.
dad, me and him are like, we have these electric shocks almost. Because we're so different in that respect, and he's like, you're crazy, you're too ambitious, why do you do this? And I'm like, you're too old-fashioned, come on, get with the times, we need to change. So it's a lot of there was a lot of, let's say, love-hate, bickering relationship going on, a lot about that. Me with my ideas of, you know, let's do this, we can do some permaculture, we can set this up, make this more beautiful, do an art project, do this, and him, oh, I'm not sure, I'm not interested, I don't want to do this. So it was it has been, and it is a struggle in that sense, that there's so much that I want to do, and that I would like to do, and there's this kind of block from him in that way. So that's another thing that we can talk about. But otherwise, other than that, with projects that I have been doing here, was I was doing for a long time a wild boot camp. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like it's basically fitness in nature, where people come, we do training in nature. It was lovely, in the mountains, it was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
It was cool. It was cool. We did a few times as well. Some events, like we did a medieval event. We did a few events on, you know, just like nature things, getting together, community, what's it called in English? Hiking, you know, in the mountains, stuff like that. And you know, I was also doing an Airbnb, so we had a lot of tours come over, many from America, many from France, from Germany, Holland, and that was going really well as well, until the neighbours decided to complain. I don't know why. It just happens. I know, it just happens. I think it's just people just, you know,
Sure.
I don't know, things like that. So that was going really well as well. And during all these things, I was still working, you know, on the farm, but I also work as well. I teach yoga as well. I did that too. And
oh boy.
And I was also studying for my nutritional therapy course, which I finished. So I was like full on with a lot of projects. It's been a very busy year, very, very busy. Full on. Very good. No. And I was also working as well in the last job there. Yeah, and you know, sometimes I have now and then some contracts just to teach English and just to make some extra cash. So, and I was doing that as well at the military school near Naples. So that was a nice experience as well. It was good. And other than the projects, yeah, that I had just said, there were so many more. There is so many more in the pipeline.
Very nice. And so the food that you're growing, it seems to me like it's a lot of extra food. Are you also doing marketing of some of that food? Do you bring that market, or is that all that something that you can and keep over the whole winter time then?
Okay, so yeah, a lot of the food is in excess sometimes. So when there is food in excess, we basically just like to give it away to our friends and stuff and neighbours and things. So nothing goes to waste, let's say, ever. So yeah, we just give it away or something. My dad's not too keen on markets. That was another thing I did say, you know, let's start, you know, we can set up a community garden, we can do you know, the stall, start to sell stuff, and he's just not interested, and I don't want to force him in that way. If he doesn't want to do it, that's fine.
Yeah.
because you cannot change people. You can't force them into stuff. So I can try only as much as I can. I think one day that would be my dream, to do something like that in conjunction with many other things. But at least just now the food is given away, so it's not, any food is not wasted. And and it's all organic. There's no pesticides used, completely organic. In fact, it's so organic that the bugs are still on it all the time. So,
Wow.
One batch of salad might have about 10 snails, all over it. So more than organic, you can say.
And that's the way it's supposed to be. That's a good thing. And so you have a lot of fruit trees there. So
yes, a lot.
Yes. And then can you tell us about the variety of trees? And you had talked recently, I think, in a post about some upcoming grafting you're going to be doing. Maybe it was peaches, but I'm not sure. Okay, so how approximately, I was surprised there were persimmons. I'm not very familiar with the growing season, so apparently you have a very long growing season there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, the growing season here generally goes from, it's around March, April when we start with plums, and then we have mulberries, and then we get all the summer fruits, apricots, figs, pears, all the berries come in as well, and then we have all the fruits that we plant, melons, watermelons, more berries. Then we've got the peaches that come in. It's just a very, very long growing season until the last fruit, which was about, well, to be honest, how you said the persimmons, usually they're still on the trees just now. This year was a bit strange. They've already all fallen off. But normally until, December, you can still get fruit on the trees here. Not that it will still be, you pick it and it ripens. But the growing season is pretty long. And we also have, I'm trying to think of anything else that's strange. I think it's about more than 10 varieties of fig trees. So
wow,
there's a lot of variety, and a lot of it was planted by my grandfather or my great grandfather or my grandmother. They did a lot of grafting as well. So there's a lot of history. I think that's why I have such this bond, in my, I don't know what it is, I can't explain it, this sort of connection to here, because I can feel this history that was involved. I can feel that they had planted it, that they had cared for that land. So it is really nice in a way. And every time I pick a piece of fruit off a tree, I just think, oh my God, how lucky am I? Because it's something I've never experienced. I grew up eating stuff from the supermarket, things in tins. We didn't have a lot of money. That was really limited sometimes. So, and to eat now, a full mono off a tree is like, oh, I can't describe it. It's unbelievable sometimes. Yeah.
Well, yes, and that is incredible. So the fruit kind of just comes in little stages, and then you tend to eat. Then I've seen you kind of eating whatever fruit is right
in season.
In season, yes. So that's probably very good. And of course, they say anything that's grown around you fits to your nutritional needs a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Fruit has that property in it that's very helpful for whatever environment you're in there. And then herbs. Are you, first of all, it appeared that it didn't look like some of the sections that I saw were standard type of fields plowed. It looked, I've seen some bigger plots like that in some of your pictures, but it more everything was more set amongst other plants. Is that what they do when they say permaculture, when it's more in a natural setting? So it's most.
I think, yeah, because in most of our gardens, our fields, where we just plow, like, or where we work a little bit of it, we don't work the whole part. So there'll still be like the wild plants near the cultivated plants. So, and here, especially in Italy, like it's still used a lot. The collecting, the harvesting of wild plants, like for example, plants like chicory, I don't know if you know that one, or plantain, or Crispino, which is like my second name in a way. There's another plant called that. So there's so many that are still used here for, people eat them as in general. I don't know in other places like the UK and America, they're not really used as much. But here in Italy, there's still a big culture of this. You grow your food and you keep also the areas near it, just, to pick as well. It's not just that you just get rid of everything. Here they use the wild plants and they grow the regular plants as well. So it's a really nice thing to keep this bond as well with wild plants.
Yes, okay, yes, a lot of people, with the herbs. I fortunately had some friends who were working with Dr. Sebi's formulas for his herbs, and they introduced me to, not that I was wild foraging, but they were wild foraging, but at least I was learning where they and how to locate and things like that a little bit, but they were doing most of them. I occasionally, and if we had a lawn area where dandelions were growing and it wasn't being touched by any herbicides or pesticides at all, raise Roundup and that, I would go out and we'd pick dandelions, and me and my grandbabies would eat the dandelions. They were always brave, and sometimes I'd harvest some leaves and do that. But that was as close as so far I have done. But mostly I've just ordered them from a nice place, the herb.
A nice place. Okay. That's good. That's excellent.
Yeah. I went vegetarian maybe about 5 years ago, and have been vegan for 2 years.
Excellent.
I'm still in the stages of teetering back and forth with inappropriate grains, and so to work with that. Yeah, so I'm still in the improving. Today was a nice more raw day. So and I enjoy it much. My system is, I thrive better on that. My system is more comfortable with being vegan. Same thing as you had. I had the chronic sinusitis in the left side of my face mostly. And in the past, when I would teeter then and have any kind of a dairy, especially again, in 3 days, automatically clogged up again in the headache.
Yeah, exactly. The headaches.
I did not know that the headaches were coming from that. So I'm really grateful when I finally did go vegan. Yeah, and definitely did a nice 6-week cleanse. I've teetered back in a little bit and done another cleanse, but I'm very much due again to go back in a little bit harder. So meaning it's time for me to do another deeper cleanse again. And this is time, so we will be doing that again. I've just, like I said, stepped back in a little bit lightly, did some herbs again and cleaned up, and now I'm ready to go in for a little bit deeper side again.
Okay. Have you done fasting before? Any fasting?
Yeah, I've done the lemonade fast for 6 months.
Oh, me too. Oh, good. Okay.
And then I've had, raw food for extended days in a time. And I was doing, when I did the 6 weeks of a detox, there was dry fasting in there and liquid days only. And then after that, I was strong for a while. And then and I haven't really gotten my full edge back on. So, but I do best if I kind of, because there's just a lot going on all the time. So
I know.
do a little at a time. I'm kind of a person that sits down and one project consumes my time. So
Okay.
I have to make sure that I'm always giving a little more equal time to those other areas. But I do best if I put in one thing at a time. So I just recently was reducing caffeine back out again. So got off the coffee. I mean,
Well done.
a little bit of tea. Yeah, so still a little bit of tea. I need the tea to have to accommodate this time, right?
No, well done.
But yeah, slowly but surely, yeah, it's made a huge difference. So I'm definitely a proponent. I absolutely understand, what it's done, and it healed a lot of different aches and pains and instances. And I can immediately, as soon as I change up my diet, what the inflammation happens and water retention, everything. So you do the wild foraging, and then you are also planting herbs, and I saw you're making some tinctures with the herbs too.
Yeah, I did. I did that. I did a black walnut tincture. I did that.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, anti-parasite.
Yes.
And I do really believe in as well in the use of herbs, and even better if you can make your own or get your own. Things like even olive leaf tree is the leaves from the olive trees is also something that not many people know about. Anti-parasitic. It lowers blood pressure. It helps with so many things. And yeah, the tincture for the black walnut, I would love to, make even more herbs and be able to, increase my knowledge further in that area. It's definitely something I'm interested in. Maybe one day I might even do, another course in herbalism or something to learn more about this. But there's just so much abundance anywhere about wild herbs everywhere. It's just our knowledge, our school system does not focus on these kind of things, so it's something that we as adults we have to learn ourselves.
Yes. The relearning is extraordinary.
Yeah. If I had learned all this stuff at school, I would be so happy.
Yes, definitely. In every single area, we are unlearning and relearning. Yes, they have a really nice children's game, which someone on the internet recently had reminded me about it, but it's a wild crafting board game.
Oh, nice.
And yes, and it's supposed to be very good also. So what a wonderful way to introduce that. And
that's the way
children's classes are coming out, so you can do this, and continue and relearn again like this. So you have also an olive production going on there.
We also have olive trees, a lot, yeah.
A lot of olive trees. That's just so exciting. So tell us about the olive trees.
Okay, so
I don't know what an olive tree looks like, so I'm going to look it up after this. I think I missed that picture.
They are beautiful. Most of them have a sort of trunk. I think it's called trunk, which is just intricately woven. They're just beautiful trees, not only to look at, but they, you can produce so many things. 1, the olives, 2, the oil, 3, the leaves are also completely therapeutic and medicinal. So there's just so many things that these trees can produce, and we, at the moment, my dad uses it. I don't really use olive oil so much. I find I just after detoxing, I just can't use it too much. It seems to not have such a great effect on me. But I do eat olives occasionally. I do, sometimes if I have to, I might use a bit of olive oil. But the oil is done once a year. It's cold pressed, organic, no chemicals at all. And the olives, we do various types. There's one they remain whole they go in the salt water for 1 year and then they're ready to go. That's them done. Then there's another type, which is the ones that are smashed with this sort of Thor hammer. I think I've done some posts about that. And those ones are done, they are left in the water. It's around 10 days. You change the water every day, and then you can put them in the brine water, and they'll keep for as long as you need them for, if they last, because they're too good. So yeah, so that's it. Basically, again, this is another thing that my great-grandparents or grandparents had planted so many of these olive trees, and yeah, so it's just another thing, another culture, another tradition, that was kept on for since, I don't know, more than 100 years it will be, that they keep, this tradition of growing, making their own olives, making their own olive oil, and using it for so many things. They even used to use it as a moisturizer, so
yes.
exactly. So, and it's still used today. I even sometimes, when I've got some spare time, I like to make my own hand creams and lotions and potions. So to use that natural olive oil, maybe get some natural beeswax from someone else, and essential oils, mix it up and make this beautiful natural hand cream. It's lovely.
Yes, that sounds beautiful. So when your father, even, he was on the farm before you got there, he was doing this to whatever level he pretty much was feeding himself off the farm. And
when before I was here, my grandmother was still alive. My grandfather had passed away, so it was basically my grandmother and my father. He was looking after her. And then basically they were just growing to eat for them, as they always had done. And they did sell maybe some cheese, sometime the goat's cheese, and maybe some other things. But yeah, basically they grew for themselves. And then a year after, I think it was a year or 2 years after my grandmother had passed away. So basically, it was just me, my dad, and then my fiance came to live with us as well. So it's been a bit of maybe a lot for my dad to get used to as well, because he was, without a daughter, or he was not used to this sort of modern person from the city coming in with all these new ideas, and yeah. It's been a lot.
That's almost a movie there, really, because I can relate. I can relate to. I can understand getting settled in my ways. Yeah, I have my going on 26-year-old son with me, and
okay,
that's settled in your ways. Yes, and so when you're talking about it, I'm seeing both sides of, that would be great. And I can feel his,
exactly.
What? You want me to what? Exactly. It's a shock to his system, thinking that's not the settled, calm day I want, because sometimes.
No, exactly.
Yeah, and your energy is whoosh, and his energy is, let's just go through our day.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it's like, Cindy.
Yeah.
And the fact that with with my lifestyle, my diet, we're just completely chalk and cheese, completely. And it's just a constant. It's honestly like a film. Like, you could film us, and people would be like, "Oh my goodness, top quality stuff." Like, it's just so funny. It's funny, but at the same time, it's so frustrating as well. So sometimes I just need to, zone out and just think, no, just concentrate on yourself. Don't worry about it. It will be okay.
And that is life. And that is why
that is life.
I asked you to be on here. I think we all appreciate, when you post that it's not always paradise.
No.
That's important for people to know, because there is that, only limited amount of information that we generally through social media. And I really appreciate my show is kind of about more raw, open talk and keeping it real. And you preserve that energy beautifully and amazingly. And it is difficult to step through, and it doesn't always mean it's just going to be a great day. It's going to be one of those days, and it helps you to appreciate when the wheel turns and it's a different day then, and it's fast. So I think it's amazing how your dad has made the progression he has. That's very nice. And the tradition that you describe in the trees, a lot of metaphysical and spiritual information talks about the trees possibly as being the missing link. They are our ancestors. And when you sort of went off and you were talking about the relationship you have, I could kind of feel you connecting in that communicative space with those energies. And as you said, I just know what people need. I believe you do. They have very high level intuition, and the tree that's needed, the plant that's needed speaks to you. It's this energy. You embody so much of the energy already. You can read its signature, energetically. That's wonderful. That's a gift. I'm very glad you decided to go back and remember that and bring that into the world. That is wonderful. Yeah, I love the boot camps and projects you were talking about there. That's amazing.
Thank you, Cindy.
So you also have some beautiful posts about willow basket weaving, and just looks like so much fun to do. Now, I'm going to say this naive question, but the willow, where is it a weeping willow tree that we're talking about?
There's so many different types of trees. There's the weeping willow. There's so many different kinds of willow trees. So basically, again, there's lots of trees that my ancestors or my dad had planted, and basically these are harvested one time a year. I think it's during the I'm saying the word in Italian, luna calante, which means when the moon is decreasing, I think, because apparently when you take it at that time, it doesn't snap while you're working it because it remains supple. So these are all things that my dad has obviously taught me, and yeah, these are harvested once a year, then they're dried for a whole year, and then when you're about to use them, they're soaked in water, maybe for overnight or 2 nights, and then you can begin to work them to intrecciare, as they say in Italian, to weave them. And yeah, so I had tried to learn for the first 2 years while I was here, wasn't happening, and then eventually one day, I don't know why, I just like, I need to learn this, and I don't know why, it just clicked in my head one day, and since then, to be honest, I've not had time to do it anymore, but I really want to start doing it again because it is something that, no one wants to learn here anymore about it. No one has an idea. That isn't a sad thing, is that a lot of the younger generation here, they're just not interested. They're just not interested in this kind of stuff. They just don't appreciate. Not all of them, but the majority of them don't seem to appreciate these like old traditional techniques that eventually will not be here anymore. They will be gone, and the last person that knew about them will be gone too, so it'll be lost. And that's something that I almost feel like it's like my sort of my role as well is to preserve these kind of things, is to preserve them and keep the knowledge and then pass it on again like it was before.
Yes, I think so, definitely. I think I saw maybe 3 or 4 different styles of baskets. So how many
Mhm.
styles can your father create?
So many, and that was the nice thing was that when I came as well, you know, I'm an artist as well, so I always, design is constantly on my mind. And I said, well, you could try maybe like to do some sort of Arabic style baskets, or you could do this kind of style,
Wow.
or you could do a lampshade, you could do, a sort of oval container, lots of different things. And I gave him these ideas, and he can just kind of went with it, and he actually started doing stuff that he's never done before, and it was really really nice to see as well that he,
Wow.
stuff that, yeah, it was really really nice, and that he even listened to me, that he even accepted the idea, because as I said, him and change do not go hand in hand ever. So it was it was a bit strange, but it was really nice as well. But yeah, the basket making, and my dad is like, he's like me, completely creative. He can create anything. He makes little Flintstone huts, like out of stone, like little huts that we also did the B&B with them as well. It was lovely. And he can solder iron and make sort of these amazing like metal creations for windows and stuff. So just so many things he does. Mosaics. He makes straw baskets out of actual straw. Um, Brooms. So many things, really. So many bags. Uh, and I got the drawing side, the painting side. So yeah, I definitely got like different creativity compared to his. His is
Oh,
much more manual.
wow. I think that would be wonderful to make sure all of those skills get preserved somewhere.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yes.
I will do that, definitely.
Wow. That is beautiful. How
Thank you.
um, I'm so close. I'm happy to be so close to it, to just, be feeling it through you. It's
Mhm.
wonderful. I've always wanted to go towards that land area, and
You should come.
eventually, I have some definite connections in the France area in general,
Okay,
and it so it calls to me, most definitely
okay, okay.
calls to me. So, um, and yeah, maybe in about a year's time, there's going to open up some traveling time. So
Ah, good,
it
good,
will be on the bucket list, definitely.
good.
Well, also tell us about your artwork. Also, do you display your artwork and teach
Yeah, okay.
artwork? Okay.
I did do a few what they call like gallery showings, like for my artwork, and it's just something that I've always done. I did think at one point I wanted to be an artist. I tried to get into art school. It's always been just a natural thing I had to draw. I was good, I could see things in my mind and then put it on paper straight away. It just came to me sort of in a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just always been a love of mine, and I do when I have time extra, I try to paint, continue to paint, to do art. And I did do also um, a children's book. I illustrated a book that I wrote and drew, and still to publish, and I will do that one day. But it was something again that I wanted to create, like to leave to the world, like something of me. Like I just put a lot of me in that book, and a lot of my my loves, and something to inspire children and adults, and about healthy eating and gardening, and
Oh,
just
okay.
something. So yeah, it was something. It's a storybook for children, a
Yeah.
regular storybook, but I wanted it to be so beautiful that they are completely inspired by it, and that they think, okay, this is this is definitely what I want to do. So that was my, yeah. And one day I will publish it. I'm just looking to see how to do that. So we'll see.
Sure. Oh,
One day.
we're looking forward to it. I definitely will purchase for my grandchildren, for
Oh, thank you.
me and my grandchildren.
Thank you. And
Yeah,
I'm sure I would love to do more books, and I would love to just be able to inspire people in any way possible. I'd love to write some more books or illustrate or do more artwork, anything that involves a creative side. I'm there. I'm up for it, and yeah.
very nice, very nice. Um, and you had, I think, said then in one post that was it that there's some challenge with, was it written as there are some challenges with doing some of the things you wanted to do in Italy because it's Italy?
Yes, exactly. So we have spoke about all the wonderful things, but now we can speak about also the things that are there
Sure.
are many challenges here that I don't think a lot of people realize. The amount of corruption here in Italy
Oh, yeah.
is something like a sort of third world country at times, and for me, as I was used to living in the UK, where most things work and there's a lot of honesty there, and your ideas are heard. Here instead, it seems like you need to be a sort of mafia person. You need to do things behind people's back to get ahead, and I'm just not up for that. I'm not into that, and that is one of the major things that is blocking me here, is
Sure.
the fact that if you want something, you need to know the right person, and if you and I just don't want to conform to that idea. So at the moment I'm thinking to actually go away for a while, and it's been a long time that I've been thinking about it, and there is a calling in me to stay, but there is also a calling in me that I need to go away and just clear my head for a minute and just sort of get my ideas together and see where my life is going to take me, because I can feel something is about to happen, but I'm just not sure where I need to be and how I have to do it. And I know that if I go away or if I come back or stay, it's going to progress, because I can feel like some stagnation, and I know that in order to move on, I need to just face my fear and kind of go away. Like this Italy now has become almost, I can say, like in a way, my security blanket, and I'm ready to take that off and just to just face on whatever is going to happen and just move on. So I think I'm going to go away maybe after January, I think, and I might go see my mum for a bit. My sister had another baby. I'm going to stay there just for a little while and then see where. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. And in a way, it's really freeing as well, because I just want to do what I love. I want to help people. I want to, work in this field and where I'm doing coaching, I'm inspiring, I'm helping people. This is basically what I want to do. And I know that maybe everyone in society might think, well, you can't just get up and leave and just leave everything. And, well, really, we can. We can just get up and leave, and we can make a fresh start, and things might seem impossible. And it might seem the scariest stuff, just to begin again from nothing. But we can, and in the end, we might actually find out that we're happier and we feel better. And it's not something that I want to leave here or abandon here, because I love here. I love my dad and I love the traditions. But at the moment, I feel like something needs to just re-begin again for me to get fresh energy to start again, to have a sort of clear mind again and restart. So yeah, it's strange. It's been a bit of a stressful time just now to accept that I need to go. So yeah, and I hope I give as well hope to other people who maybe are going through this sort of time where there's big changes coming and you need to just step up and face it and just be strong and just move on and have faith that everything is working out the way it should do. So
I think it's a perfect plan. And basically it seems that it comes down to you being able to determine that it is a true intuitive voice that's inspiring you.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm just going to get my battery.
You are already aware that you are not moving to a different place because you're running away. You're aware that you are moving because some inner voice is very strong and saying there is something that you need to have crossed your path, and it's going to take you taking this initiative and doing it. So I understand that, yes. And the point is, yes, sometimes we can't see it, but we do have to follow those impulses.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly, I think it's great that, you do give that summary of it for people, because the comfort of where you've been in one location, you can seem to convince yourself that this is the only place.
Exactly. When in reality we have so many other options. Maybe we just kind of think, okay, well, this is fine. I'm quite happy with how things are. But we don't realize that in a way we might deserve even better. We might have even better things like there on the other side, or we can bring new energy to the place where we are by going somewhere else for a while and by experiencing other things. So I'm scared, but I'm going to do it. I don't know I have no idea what's going to happen, but I can feel that something good is going to happen. And
So that means you are going back to Scotland?
I don't know. I think I'm actually going to go
where is it your family is located?
So my mum is in Northern Ireland, which is near Belfast.
Oh my gosh, okay.
My mum's there. She's near my sister's house as well. So I've never lived there before, whatever. I've been there a few times. It's a nice little town, but again, it would just be, just for a little visit, and then I have no idea. Africa is calling me. South America is calling me. I don't know. I lived in Brazil when I was younger, when I was 20 for a year, and I loved it. So I don't know, maybe South America again. I have no idea, Cindy, no idea. But I just know that stuff is going to happen, and it will be good for me. I think it'll be good for me, and in a way, it will also be good for my dad and my family, because sometimes distance as well can make things. It just heals things in a way that no one really knows why. We appreciate each other when we're further apart. We appreciate, silly little things that you don't understand anymore. So, yeah.
That's very nice. Yes. Okay. And then in the meantime in here, can you tell us a little bit about, so you went through some of the usual transitions as you came off of a different lifestyle, different habits, living in general. And you were talking about on one of your posts about how, which is very true, and people need to be reminded about this, that people assume, who aren't familiar with vegan or raw food, that there's a sacrifice of taste.
Yes.
I loved it when you were talking about how, for one thing, to tell people some tips about transitioning and what they will experience, to kind of break some of the myths about eating vegan, etc., and raw food, that your taste buds become more alive.
Definitely.
Can you talk a little bit more about that and maybe some of the transition tips and you might be working with someone when you meet with someone? Can you tell us a little bit about some of your type of health package? You do a consultation, a nutritional therapy consultation, health, and then you also do life detox packages. So can you talk about that and some of your tips and get us a little
so
bit?
I know, coming from a shockingly regular diet full of fast food and junk food and cigarettes, I know how damaged one's taste buds can be at one point. So I completely understand when you think, Stefania, you want me to eat an apple instead of this beautiful bowl of pasta. And I understand completely the whole idea of getting your mind around this. But basically, what I found is that once we start to detox, once we, start incorporating as much as natural foods as possible, the body sorts itself out. You will be amazed at how much you will not need that salt in your food anymore, or, drowning your food in oil to give it flavor. And so basically, as we go through the detox, as we continue to cleanse our colon, to flush out all the toxins with water, to exercise, to think better, everything just starts to sort itself out. It does take time. I think this is what people don't realize. It's not going to happen overnight, and unfortunately you will be at points with your hair in your head going, oh my God, this is so hard. But you just have to be calm and just listen to that voice that's saying, you can do it. You can get over this. Things will be okay. And you'll see in the mirror, maybe in the first, even in the first year, I was still, after 2 years of raw, still with problems. It was not something that happened straight away. It was literally in my 3rd year that I started to get, my skin was clear. Things were not all rosy and amazing. And first, it takes time. Your body has to basically, in a way, deconstruct itself and then rebuild again from there. But what you rebuild is something beautiful. Like, you really rebuild something that is going to withstand time now. It's not just going to fall apart for the next cold or the next illness that you get, or virus. And so basically, when I say tips for transitioning, I say find natural foods that you love. Do not force yourself to eat anything. If you don't like cauliflower, do not eat it. Find a vegetable you like. You can't stand apples, find another fruit that you like. Don't eat stuff that doesn't inspire you. In the beginning, definitely look up foods, look up recipes, look up all these new interesting ways. We have so many gadgets now that help us. There is no excuse not to make amazing things. You can do smoothies, juices, you can go to the fancy food bars, anything that's going to inspire you. You can do meetups with people. There's just so many options now. And that was one thing that I found. I don't know how I even did it here myself. I think it was definitely God, universe helping me. But, I was alone here to do this. I had my boyfriend, but and some friends, but I was the only vegan, the only person who thought this way. And, you receive a lot of judging from people, a lot. And that was harder than actually the transition of the food. It was harder to, sit at a dinner table and say, no, I am not going to eat this other food. I'm just going to have my salad, and I'm fine with that. That took a lot of, for me, coming from a person, before I was completely different. Cynthia, I was completely shy. I did not believe in myself at all. Lots of anxiety. I could never have said to someone, no, sorry, I'm just going to have my bowl of salad, or I'm going to have my bowl of pears, thanks. I could never have done this before. So that's another thing, that raw foods just completely has also changed my mind. It's not just that it's changed my body and my, the way I function. It's changed my mind. It's changed how I feel about myself, how I think. And yeah, so transitioning, I agree, slowly, put in foods you like, do sports that you like, be around people that you like. Don't listen to their negativity. Just be on your path, and that's it. And you will see slowly that these changes will start to happen, and you'll feel better, you will look better. It's just, yeah, a great, great, great path to take, I think, for everyone. And no one's is the same. Everyone will have a different time. Everyone has different paths. My past issues were pretty serious, so a lot of detoxification that I'm still going on. I'm still detoxing. I feel like my journey is not ended. I don't think anyone's will ever end, in a way, because our world today is full of pollution, full of crap. We are bombarded left, right, and centre with toxins everywhere, and the media that just tries to sell us everything to sort of corrupt us, to basically distract us as well from the simpler things in life. So yeah, if there's anything else that I've forgotten, there probably is a million other things I could say, but there's just so much to talk about when you talk about this thing. So many things.
No, that was wonderful. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Important tips. And yes, I also have appreciated on your posts that you have also included the emotional components, as you were talking about, as a cause for the acne, for example.
Yes. Lack of self-love, definitely. It was for me, I did actually realize that I focused on the acne. It's almost like I personified it. I personified the acne as myself. I did not accept myself. I did not accept that I could be beautiful with acne. I did not accept, so many things, because, our media today portrays women as this sort of perfection. We cannot have one blemish or this little bit of cellulite or, squinty eyes or something like that. So we have this ideal that we have to live up to, and I do believe that my acne, I think, was a lot related emotionally to the lack of love for myself, to the fact I wouldn't accept myself as who I was, and I believe that a lot of, through the years, working on myself, working on accepting myself, who I am, my flaws, but also my talents is something that I really never would have imagined. And so definitely it was related to diet as well, which is no doubt, but it was also, I also do think it was related to the emotional thing. I had said in many posts as well, before I could not step out the house without makeup on. I was obsessed. And to now, be on, do videos and photos in front of tons of people with no makeup on, it's just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So I'm happy for that. Yeah. And I want to inspire as well other girls, like, you do not need to cover your face up anymore. Just let it be free. It's fine. You're still beautiful. And I just want people to get that as well. We're living in this world now where a lot of social media is a lot of fake things that are making people believe that is how life should be, when in a way it can be so much more simpler. We can just go outside and go for a walk. We don't need to get in our Ferrari and go to this champagne bar. Not saying that's wrong, but we don't need to all live up to that ideal. I think that's what it is, and we can just accept the simpler things in life as well, and just be happy, and makeup free and be happy.
Yes, and not feel sad that if we don't have those things, then
Yes.
we're not at some level of success.
Yes.
I agree very much. That's definitely the essence of the Honorable series right there.
Yes, yeah.
Here is because that is very, conditioned into us. What success is externally, and to spiritually evolve is to know that we should get back on that inner voice, tuned into our true divine plan that for us, that we designed, with a space, a creator space, and move in that flow. Listen to that voice, have that motivate us and move us. And it may very often look to others like it's not success, because on what has been conditioned to us to believe what success is. So a lot of breaking the old paradigms, which there are many here, breaking out of them, because they're limited boxes. They're not really expansive. They're limited boxes. And it does take you off of more of a different plan and into pretty much eventually probably an artificial intelligence's plan, and running by a computer that has designed a place for you as a kind of a living star here on earth, but it's going to design the plan for you as opposed to you living by your own co-creative space, free exploration, and but with a general guidance. And yes, definitely. I love that. I love it when you talk about perfection, and you expressed it very beautifully in that, there is no true definition of perfect. There isn't really a perfect. And everything, has its place. And our perfection is when we find our true harmonic space amongst everything. It's kind of like the symphony of nature that you go into, and it's a perfection happening. It being connected to source sings a symphony, and I think that's what you sort of hear and tune into when you tune into people and you work with them.
Yeah, I do. I think
you can tell what is off balance by just a sense of it.
I could just see, sensing, just looking, because you can just see through the eyes of people as well.
Yes.
You can just sense straight away what is going on, and maybe they don't want to admit it, and we do that with ourselves sometimes as well. I even, maybe I'm having an off day, which happens. It happens sometimes. And it's just because I just don't want to love myself. I want to sabotage myself, which is what a lot of people do. And admitting that is hard, though. Realizing it and admitting it is very hard. And I think it would be amazing if the world starts to open up to that, is that we can just admit our flaws and just get on with it then, move past it. And I think we can do that as well through social media. Like, we can use social media in a positive way. I don't like this whole thing that everyone's saying, it's ruining the world, it's ruining the world. I don't think it is ruining the world. I think it's actually making like a lot of like new connections. People have this free source of information. It's amazing. And we shouldn't complain, because we have so many amazing things now compared to this is the thing, Cindy, that I learned here a lot, is that before, people had nothing, like literally nothing. They had no central heating, no running water in the house. At times they literally had to just eat wild greens and beans for days, months on end. They had nothing. And I realize now that, we have everything today. We are so spoiled almost, we have each person a computer, a phone, a musical instrument. a car, 3 cars, 1 house, 2 houses, so many things, and we still complain. So something is off. Something is really off.
Yes.
And that's what I think. And not that I don't complain. I do still complain, but I want to get over it where I don't complain anymore about silly things.
Sure. Yes.
And I think like that's why God, universe, source, like saved me. You know, I would not have been here. And I think this is why, like, just to show people, like, you can change your life, you can really move on. Life is beautiful, and you can change, and you can make a difference as well and help other people. And yeah, we just have to appreciate everything of what we have, and everyone, appreciate their flaws too. And
That's a perfect way, yes, to round up the show here.
Okay.
So can you give those people who might be listening who haven't made it to your page yet and they will be discovering you through this radio broadcast, can you give them your website and your Facebook pages?
Okay, so my website,
Instagram,
and the other things. Okay, so I'm on Instagram. Yep, I'm on Instagram, and my name on there is Fruitarian Farmer. That's my nickname, I like to say. So Fruitarian Farmer. I'm also on YouTube as well, which would be Fruitarian Farmer as well. And my website as well is www.fruitarianfarmer.com as well. So very simple to remember, the same name. And you can also find me on Facebook page, the same name, or through my regular profile. You can add me there as a friend as well. It's absolutely fine. Stefania Crispino. So either way, many sources to contact me. It's absolutely fine. And I know in the future that I'll be doing more. I'll try to do more videos. I would love to do more podcasts, these kind of things. More videos, maybe even, speaking seminars. I would love to do stuff like this. So we will see what the future holds. And I'm very grateful if anyone, even they just want to send me a message, if they have like a query or something, it's absolutely fine. And I look forward to any future projects. And yeah, I was really, really thankful as well to you, Cindy, for this opportunity. It's been lovely. You're a fantastic interviewer, and it's just been really, really nice.
Oh, well, thank you. I very much enjoyed it. Thank you. It definitely is a pleasure to sit in your company and
thank you. You too.
Feel your energy field. Yes, thank you. I think a lot of people will be able to share in that energy, and that's what's significant here. We're sending it out on the airwaves. You said it can be positive too.
Yes.
To do change, it can be positive too.
Yes.
So yes, okay, everyone. So thank you for joining us tonight. We are going to be saying goodnight. And I will be here again next week. And during the week, I will be letting you know who is coming on to the next week's show. And I will also be putting up a list of those people who are coming on the honor roll series in January. So we have a wonderful lineup coming up. So that will be posted on my page. So thank you all. Have a wonderful, blessed week. And we will see you then. Bye-bye now. And that's a wrap.
Finished.